What is up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast. Not dead yet. Still alive.
Can't kill us.
Can't kill us. Monday, doubleheader, Atlanta Braves. This is war. We'll talk more about it here as we're coming up. It's just chaos. I can't believe that 6 months of baseball, 160 games, it comes down to one doubleheader on a Monday before you have to play your playoff series on Tuesday.
Possibly.
I can't even believe it. There's so much to talk about, I guess. I don't know. Shout out David Peterson. What a fucking dog he is. Let's do the spiel before we get going into anything. Make sure you follow us on all our social media at Mets'd on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe to the Mets'd Podcast YouTube channel if you want to see the video version of this. And if you are listening, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. James, take it. I'm about to burp.
I can't believe the weekend we just had. I feel tired. I feel like I'm good. By the time I finish editing this episode, I'm going to be in a body bag. It's 9:17 on Sunday night, and I'm not even kidding. I shit you not. I haven't checked one fantasy football box score today.
Wow.
Literally. I don't know the score of any of my games. I'm too locked into ball.
You almost can't until tomorrow.
Yeah, kind of can't. No, I'm going to definitely check it right after this. I want to see how I'm doing. But it was just these last 3 days were such an unrelenting roller coaster of emotions. I couldn't even describe it. When I woke up on Sunday, I was like, I can't believe we're doing this again. Like after the way Friday and Saturday's games went, especially that was the Brewers. It was such visceral flashbacks to the first series of the year, March and April, which is a legitimate lifetime ago at this point. But that was the Seymour Wiener introduction. If you guys remember how long ago that was, but just,
yeah.
It was this like horrible, like unescapable feeling of I can't believe they're doing this again, while also like still having the hope resonating. I put the video up on Instagram and Twitter, but I went for a walk this morning because I walk in the rain because I was like, I just have to go for a walk in the rain. Like I'm going to be planted on my couch watching so many sports today. I got to get out of the house. I got to feel the air. I need some nature. And the rain honestly helped. It just, I don't know. I think a lot of people quit before Sunday. I think if you quit, you probably should have never been involved in this anyway, because that's not how this Mets team is. Especially like Steve Cohen tweeted, like this team's resilient. They've been resilient all year, but oh my god, what a battle every Mets fan fought this weekend trying to will this team. I saw so many Mets hats, shirts on the streets the last couple of days. Every single person, let's go Mets, like a couple clips back and forth saying things. Just everybody's locked in. It felt like the team was going to completely crumble, fall apart, and shrink in the moment again, but we did not. I'm happy we're here.
Big question for everybody at home listening, watching, whatever it is. Where are we watching the game tomorrow? Anybody got a bar? Anybody got a suggestion? Somewhere in
watch party?
Yeah, somewhere in New York City, preferably Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and like close to Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, not like deep out there. We're not traveling that far. But anybody have a suggestion? Because we got a doubleheader tomorrow against the Braves.
Starts at 1 o'clock.
Starts at 1 o'clock. Got the text from Tyler McGill. He asked if we're up. We'll see if we answer or not tomorrow. I gotta have a couple beers while we're watching that game tomorrow. There's no way I can't. You know the LeBron meme where it's like I can't believe this is my life or whatever. That's how I felt, but it was like the opposite. It was like I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe this is happening again. We're going to Atlanta with our season on the line. It's deja vu. I've seen this so many times before. We've seen this too many times as a Mets fan. And the one thing I will say is the sicko, the insane, mentally disturbed person in me is like, oh, we got this. We're gonna do it. We're gonna win one of these two games without a doubt. I feel weirdly confident again going into it, and I think because of how badly they played the one game in Atlanta plus the 2 games in Milwaukee to start the series, I was like, oh shit, maybe we just don't got it like that. And then Sunday for David Peterson to just step up.
Oh my god.
We'll talk about him a little bit more in depth, but to just give us that performance, and then Lindor, Iglesias, JD Martinez hit the ball hard, got a couple hits off the Schneid. Guy stepped up. Francisco Alvarez, big hits. Like it was just, that was the Mets baseball we had seen since June 1st when they made that huge change. And that was the Mets team that we'd been accustomed to watching. And it was good to see them get back to there, because I was genuinely concerned that if they got off to a slow start on Sunday, that was going to snowball and it was going to be season over.
I think Lindor just said, I'm not going to let us get off to a slow start. Like he draws.
His vibe was sick.
He draws the walk, first bat of the game. He steals second base immediately. He comes around to score in the single by Nimmo. He was so beleaguered when he came around to score. He basically fucking crawled to Mark Vientos, who helped him up because his back is so fucked. It's like this is why you have like This is why you pay a player $30 million a year. This is why you have these like franchise cornerstone type superstars on your roster. This is why they're so valuable to a baseball team. Because the Mets play the game on Sunday where if they would have lost, they would have been cooked. Season would have been over. Not
Not
literally, but
technically.
proverbially, it would have been fucking over. For him to just not allow his team to get off to a slow start, like that's superstar level shit. Like that's special. That's the things you dream about. And then again, you mentioned Peterson. Keith had a quote about Peterson this game that stuck with me. That I thought was really, really, really cool. He said, his teammates will always remember this start and look at him differently because of it. And I think that's the truth. Like the David Peterson legacy has been, I'm like, legacy's a big time word for David Peterson. But
Legacy
like,
game though. It was a legacy game.
what he's done this year has dramatically changed the way I think he has been viewed by Mets fans and likely will be viewed for Mets fans. But showing up this game on Sunday, this is one that will be remembered for a long time. Like this goes down the lore with John Maine and weirdly Johan Santana's. He's like second to last day of the season. Just unbelievable gems because he I'm not gonna say he was perfect because he wasn't perfect. He gave one hit and it was an infield single. Like he was absolutely locked in from the get go. Him and Lindor and Iglesias, basically him and Lindor are the ones that willed the Mets to this victory. And we're not in this place having this happy, slightly happy, relatively cheerful podcast on Sunday night. We're literally in a ditch somewhere. We're freaking out. We're miserable if those two guys don't do what they did because they did it so fucking well.
I don't think it'd be understated how huge that was for David John Peterson to pitch like he did on Sunday. Like you said, it changes
Why'd
the way.
You say his middle name?
I don't know because I see it on MLB.com. David John Peterson.
Insane thing to do.
Why? Why is that insane?
Next player you referenced, use their middle name too.
Okay, next player I reference, I'll use their middle name. But David John Peterson, DJP as I know him, he was just so good, so in control. Got out of a couple jams when he got into them.
There were no jams. There was one.
There was the one jam or whatever where it was like a couple guys. Remember, he walked a guy first and second. Then we had first.
Yeah, I think he got infield single, and then it was a walk, and that was it. That was like the fourth inning. I guess, but you said jams. There was a singular jam. He was fucking awesome.
He was awesome. And you look at his full season numbers: 121 innings, 21 starts, 2.9 ERA, 10-3 record. I know we're not a record podcast, but David Peterson won a bunch of games for the Mets this year. They won a lot of games when he was on the mound. He was phenomenal, and I think everybody in Mets world, ourselves included, just got to get a little tip of the cap to David Peterson because he was phenomenal. An incredible season from him. He did everything that he possibly could, and like you said, on the pitching side, willed us to win this game, which was just something I didn't think I'd be saying about David Peterson this year. I honestly did not believe in him like this.
The big thing about Peterson that I think I've been seeing and noticing this year as he's gone on this route is that when he has the high four-seam fastball working and he's locating that the way he wants to do it, you can kind of sit back and be like, okay, he's going to be a good David Peterson start. He only threw one fastball in this game below the belt, and I think that was intentional because it was a pitch that was dotted against Eric Haas in that weird seventh inning at bat when he came up. But it's just he had the four-seamers working, the sliders were good, the sinkers were good. Like all five of the pitches, the changeup cluster and his pitch chart from this game is beautiful. It was every single one was bang right here in the bottom of the strike zone, about 2 inches underneath. It was just he didn't really miss at all, like the whole game. I don't know. It's amazing to have thought back to like earlier this season or even 3.5 months ago to be like the biggest start of the season, like the biggest game of the season, like who's going to be on the mound, like who's going to be the clutch player, like bringing the victory. It's fucking David Peterson. I had a weird calm before this game. I think for that reason, also just because I didn't think the Mets were going to lay down and fully get swept. Like it looked like they were going to on Friday and Saturday, but the Peterson start was a big reason why. It's just again, we have to make the playoffs for us to really like lock this in and be like, this was a David Peterson game. But also, I just mentioned the John Maine
and what I was about to say.
Johan Santana games. We'd missed the playoffs both of those years. So, like, I think we'll always remember as Mets fans, like,
it wasn't Tom Glavine.
It wasn't Tom Glavine. The David Peterson start in Milwaukee on that fateful Sunday in September. It was fucking awesome.
Wasn't Max Scherzer. Wasn't Chris Bassett. Wasn't either of those guys. He stepped up
again.
Big time.
There's also a Milwaukee Brewers lineup that had Isaac Collins, Blake Perkins, Jake Bauer. No. I'm just saying.
Like, you take that back. There's no slander.
The Brewers lineup today, there were zero regulars that had an OPS over 800. That was good. He came out of the game. Yeah, it's just again like I think another part of that too is Colin Ray. Like we're like, wow, the Mets offense finally broke out. Colin Ray is like big time back end starter oatmeal, but he's not exactly like a good starting pitcher. He's been worse as season's gone on. 8 of the 9 Mets regulars in the lineup had a hard hit ball of Colin Ray. The only one that did not was Starling Marte, who bunted twice.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really count. So basically every single Met that decided to swing the bat, a hard hit ball of Colin Ray. We had 10 hits against him. Like the lineup was cruising. Lindor and Iglesias 20-game history. Like, how does this happen? What are you freaking out about?
Interesting. I was getting ready to talk about Julio Daniel Martinez.
There you go.
There you go. Julio Daniel. 3 hard hit balls on the day. So I've never actually really looked at the StatCast metrics per swing like during the game. And on his double, he had his fastest swing of the game at 84.4 miles an hour.
Nice.
On his fly out, 74. On his single, 69.7. I don't know why it didn't track the line out for his bat speed on his fourth at bat, but 3 out of 4 balls that he hit today, hard hit. The double was the one which wasn't hard hit, which go figure. That's so funny, but it hit the base, of course. But
Yeah,
the thing with JD, like him just hitting, him being a productive player in this lineup, you see how much longer it makes this lineup. You see how much harder it is for the pitchers, because then you have JD and Alvarez swinging the bat great. Pete not swinging the bat great right now. There's a couple guys that are definitely still a little bit in a slump. We got 2 more games for the rest of the season. It's time to wake up or shut up. That's pretty much it. I think this team, I feel a hell of a lot better how they responded today than how I did the first 2 games of the series, because it felt like, oh shit, it's happening again.
Yeah, I threw out a tweet when I was had a few beverages on Saturday night. Happy shout out to my buddy Corey, happy birthday, turned 30. Was a pretty bad party guest, was just watching the Mets on my phone most of the time, and then Irish exit the party at 12:30 because I was like, tomorrow's too big of a day. I know Corey likes to stay at all hours of the night and drink ungodly amounts of alcohol. He's a tank. But I knew I couldn't do it. But I sent out a tweet, described the Mets in one word. And I got some crazy responses. I got despondent, I got pain, I got torture, I got scared, I got infuriating, consistent, edgy, depressing, clusterfuck, maddening, chokers, frustrating. Someone said 2 balls, blue ball, 2 words, blue balls. Someone just said chokers again, a lot of chokers, futility. Our buddy D1CKARUS just put up that funny hazy picture of like the hammer, the whiskey, and the pistol. Like it's just outmatched, predictable, entropy. Good one for upstate Mets right there. Yeah. Limp. There's a lot of words.
Feel limp.
Yeah. Again, but like it's amazing. Baseball's the best because the tide can change so quickly in one day, 24 hours. You and I lamented this morning before the game started because you came over. We were like, this could be the worst thing ever that happens right now. Like, how could this happen again? You mentioned JD. I really want to applaud Carlos Mendoza, give him a lot of credit. We give him credit all the time for sticking with JD. And the reason he stuck with JD today, he was like, we signed him for these kind of games. He's a veteran. He's been there before. That's all the right shit. And that definitely helped JD's mindset a lot. He just went through basically the worst slump in team history, besides for fucking Ray Ordonez, who couldn't hit anything ever. He was not in this team. He was one of the worst hitters in the history of Major League Baseball. But it was cool that Mendoza did that. And also, it's like, that's good analytical thinking. Like, just because the guy was 0 for 34, whatever the fuck it wound up as, just because he didn't get hit yesterday does not mean you're not going to get hit the next day. So that's it. Good that they stuck with him. If the Mets are going to field their best 9, they're lined up with their best 9 players, he is in it. Mendoza and Stearns have kept using that phrase, best 9, best 9, best 9. It's him. So I give both of them credit for sticking with it and doing that.
Yeah, no, it was great to see JD swinging the bat well. Great to see the Mets win that game. It's so monumentally important for them, because if they didn't win that game, would have gone into Atlanta needing to win 2. And I'll tell you what, winning 2, definitely a lot harder than winning 1.
Wasn't going to happen.
No, it was not. Talking a little bit more about this Mets Brewer series. The weird thing about doing these podcasts is that we miss sometimes like the very important things that go on at the beginning, because the beginning of this series, you had Ramon de Jesus behind the plate in game 1, tossing Carlos Mendoza
and bumping Mendoza
early in the game. And while Keith was being like weird about it and still siding with the umpires like he has all year, which was bizarre, I loved what Ron said. And he was like, 1, Ramon de Jesus is a terrible umpire. He's like, 2, he's got to know the magnitude of this game and how important it is. He can't have that short of a fuse like he always does. He has to understand the moment, has to understand the experience. I know you're not supposed to argue balls and strikes. 1, Ramon de Jesus was awful. He was horrendous. He's a terrible umpire. He's never been good. Absolute dog shit behind home plate. Mendoza came out there, got mad at him, screamed at him because it was an insane strike 3 call on Francisco Alvarez, who saw 7 balls that at bat. 3 of them were called strikes. They weren't even close. He went out, screamed at him, but the problem was Ramon de Jesus bumping him. And he was like, Ron was like, the bump of him is insane. Like the umpire to initiate that, he came into that saying, I'm going to throw someone out of today's game. If they give me any lip, if they give me any sort of backlash, I'm going to put them in their place because everybody's here to watch me. And I thought a good note that people on Twitter were making was, it's so funny how the umpires, they love to be the star of this game, right? I mean, that's why you watch, right? You want to see Ramon de Jesus behind home plate. Why don't they get press conferences at the game? I'd love to hear them answer questions like the players and coaches. I think that would make a lot of sense. But instead, they hide behind the union and they do nothing. They say nothing. They hide in anonymity after they get off the field. But when they're on the field, it's all about them.
I think a lot of Mets fans might also remember we have some history with Ramon de Jesus. You guys might remember, again, he threw Jorge Lopez out of the game on the day before the fateful glove toss ejection. I'm the worst teammate in all of Major League Baseball. So that, and also I remember at the time, but it just wasn't the moment to bring it up and talk about this. The call that Jorge Lopez was arguing that got him ejected was that it was a check swing from someone on the Dodgers. And Ramon de Jesus didn't didn't call to
Yeah.
the I think it was the first base umpire.
No,
He just made the call himself.
DeJesus was at third base, and
That's what it was. Yeah.
they called down to him, and he just stood there.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you. And he was like, "This is your fucking job, dude. Do your job. Why are you acting like such a tough guy? This is why you're here."
Shout out Jerry Blevins after the game on SNY too. All the hair and all of its glory. He went off on Ramon DeJesus. I'll pipe in the clip here right now.
DeJesus got in his face and bumped in him and came towards him. That just shows me that you have such thin skin that you know you're not good at your job and you just throw the guy out. No, you can't talk to me. This is a tough, just an overall brutal game from him. And not the first time. He threw Jorge Lopez out earlier in the season on a really bad check swing call from when he was at third base and threw him out from the mound right away. It might be too much for him in the big leagues. And by the way, can't handle it. And this might be too much.
That unbelievable cutthroat comment to say maybe you're just not ready for this level of Major League Baseball. And I want to preface all. It's not preface because the end is not preface. I can't believe what we're doing. I can't believe
30, brother.
I can't. But we're in a war, dude. This is it.
Say goodbye to the women and children. Give them a kiss goodnight. Tell them I'll see you on Tuesday. We're at war.
Waking up for battle, but. Where's I even going with that? Jerry Blevins talking about Ramon DeJesus, cutthroat. Oh, it's lame as fuck to complain about the umpires. In any sport, anyway, it's like, again, Francisco Alvarez took that ball, but should have been a strike. You know what? Francisco Alvarez walks, that game doesn't change. We still lose that game. Probably. Seven times out of 10, if Francisco Alvarez draws that walk, it doesn't even bring in a run, we still lose that game. 7 times out of 10. Maybe even 4 times out of 5. That being said, it's fun to take. That was horrible. That was one of the worst games a lot of us have ever seen. It was great to get this universal baseball thing together. But again, it's lame as shit to complain about umpires because both teams have the same umpire. Balls and strikes it's such a nominal little part of the baseball. Okay, all this shit will add up and butterfly effect change the game, but very lame thing. And this was after a week that this is part of me. Hand up.
I think
Mets fans are complaining about the weather.
To blame the umpire for the loss. I think it's not lame to complain. You're allowed to complain. Everybody's allowed to complain. This is America. But you can't blame him for the loss.
Yeah, people were blaming the umpire. I can't believe he has umpire. Cost us the game. It didn't cost you the game. Shaman and I pitched like shit. We didn't hit it at all. We cost ourselves the game. Lame as shit to be blamed. But again, complaining, you're right. Difference in blaming and complaining. But I think that was a shift in the Mets that happened between Sunday and Saturday where it's just we really have to refocus right now. It's very important that we get our heads back in this game. It was a very weird week for the Mets. The fact that they came from this insanely emotional week of playing at home, winning 6 out of 7 games, getting themselves firmly back into the playoff picture, not back in the playoff picture, but really just responding and taking the bull by the horns and basically demanding the playoff spot. And then playing one baseball game in 4 days while taking 3 flights. In what world do you take more flights and play baseball games? That's insane. It's hard. Baseball is such a rhythm game, and we were in such a rhythm. And it's really hard to kind of have this stop and start herky-jerky thing going on. Again, also not an excuse, but it was a weird week for the Mets. So this refocusing on Sunday, led by Lindor and Peterson, it was just really nice and comforting to see the team be able to respond this way.
Yeah, especially because Saturday they completely shit the bed. I mean, that
was one
of
the worst baseball games ever.
Yeah, that was actually torture. That was a painful watch. There was nothing enjoyable about watching that game on Saturday. Again, tip the cap a little bit to Jose Quintana. I think he did a fine job.
Great. I think he pitched great.
Yeah, completely not on him. I think he struck out 10 batters in 4 innings. Quintana, 9. Again, that's a great job from a guy who me and James in a couple off seasons ago, the one player that we ever spoke about in a rumor while we worked for the New York Mets. We were like, we don't want Jose Quintana. That's the one guy they signed. It's so funny how that ended up working out. But legacy start for Jose Quintana and the Mets. He did a really good job. Had a great last month of the year. Really can't ask for more from him.
No, it's just that fucking bloop single by Joey Ortiz. But again, he pitched great. The one thing that was really troubling about Saturday, not just the fact that the Mets as a team only had 1 extra base hit and did nothing with it and did 2 hits overall. Even Pete reached on that error, I think it was in the 4th. And then bang, bang, bang. Marte, Torrens, Bader. Everyone got out immediately. But the worrying thing is probably the Reed Garrett implosion.
Yes.
That's scary to me because he was a guy who had worked his way back into the trust tree, and now I think he might not be in it anymore. And the fact that we're playing 5 baseball games in 4 days, we need all hands on deck, and it was a lot. And also something else that was weird, not from this game but Sunday, we were talking about in the moment, the Edwin Diaz appearance.
Yes,
winding up throwing 26 pitches, and then one of his fastballs being only 94.5 miles an hour.
I think we're looking into the fastball thing a little bit too much. The reason being is because he got it back up to 99, I think, a couple times in the game.
Totally did, yeah.
And I think this is where the bringing him in was awkward, was because I think in his head he's like, I'm getting my work in. We're just I'm throwing a bullpen basically. And I think that's like
Yeah.
why it was like 94, 95. Just damn, I wish I could coast at 95. That'd be so sick to just get out there and be like, throw a strike 95 miles an hour. But yeah, I get the decision because the Mets physically needed to win this game on Sunday. This was a save. You need to get it. There's like, I know it's not a save in terms of stats, but that was a save because if you blow that game, then you bring
season's over.
Season's over. You have to win 2 in Atlanta, and now you don't have Edwin Diaz. You don't have all this kind of stuff. He's obviously going to be available tomorrow. 26 pitches. Season ends if you don't play past Monday. So keep on throwing out there. And I think Edwin does like to throw a lot more often than most pitchers, but would have preferred if he maybe threw 15 pitches, or if he threw 0 and we won the game, that would have been really great.
I think there probably was something like you said about the bullpen thing where he's like, I'm going to come in. I'm not going to take it easy, but I'm only going to go like 80%.
Yeah.
And I think he might have realized I can't do that. Like that.
Yeah,
I literally can't do that. It's like, I don't know how to pitch 80%. Like that's why it's always weird to me, like in these like spring training starts for these relievers where it's like, you can't, like, you're not going to have the same, I guess you will have you could have the same mechanics, but it's just the whole process different. So I think that he kind of had to be like, I'm just going to blow it out. Of course, is what I'm going to do. But I would much prefer to have like a 13-pitch outing. But this strike out the side for 7 swings and misses in 1 inning of work. Just for a frame of reference, David Peterson pitched 7 innings with 8 strikeouts. Only got 11 swings and misses. So that's just like a little sensible right there. But I didn't like seeing a 94.5 in the radar gun. But then I also threw a 91 mile an hour slider like 7 pitches later. Yeah. And he threw probably 2 of his best sliders the entire year,
which is awesome. Love to see that.
Yeah, it's just I almost think right now the Mets are going to benefit from being just the fact that how completely fucking insane this is.
Yeah.
Like then you no longer even have a moment to think. Like
which is awesome. That's great.
That's what I'm saying. Like you just all they're doing is reacting. They're just playing. They're back in. I'm so nervous.
Atlanta. You're nervous? I'm ready, dude. I'm excited.
I'm ready, but I'm also. I mean, there has to be some nerves. Like this is the whole season coming down the line in one double header. But it's like it's a nervous excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's worse.
Is anxious worse than nervous?
I think anxious is worse than nervous for sure.
You don't get like, okay, when you were a little kid, you were anxious for Christmas, right? Like, I can't wait. You weren't like, oh my God, I'm so nervous.
I don't think that's what anxious means, though. I think that's just like, I think that's excited. Anxious can like manifest itself in like physical symptoms. Like, I don't really definitely, anxiety's a bad thing.
Yeah, anxiety does suck. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, wrong word, but that's how I'm feeling. I'm like a kid on Christmas morning. Can't wait to open the presents, see what's inside.
I was so happy to watch Francisco Lindor play baseball today. Like it's just
what a fucking warrior.
I said it before, I'll say it again. Like this guy is everything to this team. This is the best Met that most of us are ever going to watch in our lives.
Oh,
truthfully.
easily.
Not easily, because I mean, some people who maybe not listening to this podcast, but a lot of people saw Tom Seaver pitch.
Okay,
I think Jacob deGrom was pretty incredible. David Wright's amazing, but it's like
Mike Piazza.
Yeah, Mike Piazza too. But like Lindor, just what he's done in like this game specifically is like that's just superstar shit.
Yeah, when he stole the base
I will not let my team lose this game if I can do anything about it. It was fucking special.
Yeah, it was definitely special. It was a great game by the Mets.
Also, wait, I missed one thing. One thing from Friday we got to talk about.
Go.
Fuck Rhys Hoskins.
Major fuck Rhys Hoskins. Yeah.
I hate that.
When we see them, when we see them in the postseason, when we see them in the postseason after we take one from the Braves and we go back to Milwaukee to that shithole field where there's the sun coming through. So much sun. I can't even. Who built that? Why are there so many windows? I've never seen windows in an indoor stadium. To me, that's crazy. I want to end Rhys Hoskins' season. I wanted to end in Milwaukee. He can stay in that miserable fucking city with all the cheese that they got and their Miller Lite, not even Coors Light, the best beer. I want to end Rhys Hoskins' season. I fucking hate Rhys Hoskins so much. It goes
so much.
Again, deep-seated hate. I think it's like Clemens, Utley. I think for me, they flip just because Piazza guy. Fuck Roger Clemens. They flip for me on a given day. Rhys Hoskins has to be number 3.
Might be closer than my 1. I don't know, because it just hit the way that he hit that grand slam off Sean Manaea, where love Sean Manaea. We're not in the spot without Sean Manaea.
No.
Pooped his pants in the biggest start.
Major poop, yeah.
Just completely pooped himself. But it was that at bat specifically was so annoying to me because he kept throwing him the two seam. The two seam is great. Manaea throws it for like when he's on. Like Manaea will throw the pitch 70% of the time in a game. And I won't be upset about it. It's one of the best pitches in all of baseball based by run value on Baseball Savant. But he just couldn't really get the feel of it. You could see the command was off. And this was also annoying for Manaea because everyone else in the rotation's being asked to like move their schedule around a lot more than him because this crazy week. He only had 1 extra day off. He just stepped on the mound. He very clearly didn't have it at all. The last time that Manaea didn't throw 6 2/3 innings in a start was August 10th.
Wow.
Before Friday night.
Wow.
But that grand slam, he just put a two-seamer right down the middle. It was bell high. It was the easiest pitch I think Rhys Hoskins ever hit in his entire life, at least as a major leaguer. But he also, crazy thing Mania did, because he just couldn't get the feel of that two-seamer. He couldn't get it. He talked to Hefner. He kept throwing it. He went back to his color. He threw his color literally exactly one time since July 24th.
Whoa.
And July 24th, that was the week they played the Braves, and he saw Chris Sale and changed everything. So he's thrown the color one time since Jesse Winker joined this team. Think about how long ago that was.
That's
crazy.
a while.
One time since NFL training camps. It's the Aaron Rodgers Egypt story from minicamp, whatever. When he skipped practice and now can't play that well with his team. Freaking asshole. But it was very, very. I was much more confident going into Friday than I was for basically other games this year. I really thought Mania was just rolling, had it. It was disappointing to see him do that, because if the Mets can pull this off and get to the playoffs, game one, Mania's getting the ball 3 days rest.
Yes.
And there's a really good chance if the Mets are playing that game, it's against the same team. So you gotta get ready to pitch. And I think that maybe it was just a feel thing that one day the fastball wasn't working. That's normally his pitch he leans on, but I was a little nervous watching that game on Friday. It didn't give me good hope for the future.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a great omen. I don't know. When you get pushed back a day too, like sometimes your whole rhythm gets thrown off, and it was more of a slow
Quintana
start.
didn't pitch in 10 days, and he came out firing.
Jose Quintana is a consummate pro. Not that Sean Manaea
really
isn't,
is.
but Jose Quintana, for everything that we said
off.
are the shortcomings for him when he came into this team and this roster, I'll tell you one thing. He goes out there and he pitches whenever he's told.
The biggest frustration with Jose Quintana always and forever will be the fact that the Mets medical team or whoever was involved with this physical missed a tumor in his abdomen that was so big it fractured the rib. I'll never ever the rest of my life forget the fact that when the Mets gave Jose Quintana a physical, they missed a tumor.
Yeah.
Literally, if you're giving a pitcher a physical, elbow, shoulder, tumors.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, like that. Then we should figure out the rest of the body. But hopefully they would never make that mistake again. It was never exactly about Quintana. It's just the fact that he wasn't very exciting, and pitchers who were worse than Quintana were accepting 1-year deals, and we happily gave him a 2. But thankfully we gave him that 2, because then if we don't give him that 2, he doesn't start this game on Saturday. Actually, we lost the game anyway. Doesn't matter. Whatever. I don't care. I'm on a tangent right now. But shout out Jose Quintana. Good enough to win.
Shout out Jose Quintana. Let's talk about everybody's favorite thing that's happening today. Maybe even when you're listening to this, maybe even before, whatever it is, when you're listening to this, it's going to be Monday. Doubleheader in that shithole of a city, Atlanta.
Hellscape.
I fucking hate the Braves. I hate that stupid stadium. It's beautiful. I hate it. I hate their fan base. I hate the tomahawk chop. It's racist. I hate everything. I hate everything about the Atlanta Braves. And I'd love nothing more than to win one game. One game there. Make the playoffs. If we get the opportunity to win 2, and we do, and we knock them out of the playoffs, wow.
But here's the question there. I think right now we should talk through a lot of the weird scenarios and decisions that are being made about this doubleheader. So the Mets announced after the game that Tyler McGill is going to start game 1.
Right decision.
They said if they win the game, Severino is going to pitch game 1 of the wild card. If they lose the game, Severino is going to start game 2. I don't disagree it's the right decision, probably in terms of just bullpen management, just seeing if you can hold Severino. I do think we're getting a little cute, a tiny bit. I think if you're playing 2 games, you have to win 1 to continue your season. Wouldn't you probably pitch the better pitcher?
Nah, you always hold your guy. I think you always hold your guy, because if do or die, always. But when you have the option of 2, you have to hold the best guy for the second game. I mean, Braves are even doing that with Sale, and it's.
I don't know if the Braves are doing that with Sale. The Sale stuff is really strange what they're doing with him, because his last start he was down about 2 miles an hour. Before this season, Chris Sale had thrown a combined 150 innings in the last 3 years. Like, this is just probably a lot of work for this guy, and he hasn't been used to it. Now, the fact they keep pushing him back, he didn't pitch the whole weekend. They managed to win the series against the Royals. He didn't pitch 1 game, which is
fucking Royals.
So fucking Travis d'Arnaud Saturday. You gotta be kidding me.
What a gut punch that was to see him hit the walk-off home run.
Unbelievable. But weird stuff with Sale right now, because I think they just really don't want him to pitch.
No, they definitely don't want him to pitch. There's a super we don't want him to pitch, which is why they're going Schwellenbach game 1. But I think back to the Mets, I think you have to go McGill, because, and I was telling you this earlier, and I'll tell the people now, I think with McGill, 4 or 5 innings max. I don't think you're going to try to stretch him out further. You got to use your best bullpen arms. They need to be fresh. If you go Severino, let's just say you go Severino, he gets knocked out early. Are you just punting then? You're punting the first game. You have to act with your best foot forward in that game 1. And for McGill, who's going to, let's just say 5 max, right? That's 50% of the game. You still have another 50% of the game left, and I want my best 50% there. Whereas with Severino, we've seen him go 6, 7 innings at times this year when he's on. I think it would be too cute, actually, to be too aggressive to be going with Luis Severino in game 1.
What's half of 9? You said 50% of 9 is 5.
Well, if you go 5 innings, it's 5.5. It's 4. It's technically 4.5 or 5 innings, but it's not a real 5 innings.
That's math with Mark right there. But
Yeah.
I do see what you're saying. But let me throw you a scenario right now.
Hit me. All right.
It's the second inning, and let's just say, I don't want to put universe, but let's say Matt Olson hits a 3-run homer.
Okay.
And Mets are losing 3-0 in the second inning. Does McGill keep pitching? Does McGill come out of the game?
Stays in.
3-0. What if then there's a solo homer in the next inning by Ramon Largon? Mets are losing 4-0 in the third inning, and it seems like the Braves kind of have Tyler McGill, and then the lineup and 4 batters are going to flip over for the third time through. And it's not even the fourth inning.
I fake an injury. I call Joey Lucchese, put the jersey on him, let him throw 150 pitches and finish the game. I don't know this, but that's
with my whole thing. My thing in my brain is like, let's say, at what point do you concede the game you're playing and then start planning for the next one? Like, I don't want to use the best relievers in a game you're losing in the first one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this.
But that's why you start McGill first, is because if you are going to concede the game, you can't concede game 2. There's no conceding in game 2.
If you win game 1, you can concede game 2.
Yeah, then the Mets. If the Mets win game 1, honestly, forfeit, win, take it. I don't care. We don't put anybody else out on the field.
That's another part of this that sucks, because I feel like there would be a wonderful world where the Mets and the Braves meet in a dark tunnel and they shake hands. Someone forfeits game 1, someone forfeits game 2. Both of our pitching staffs don't get fucked, and we both get to go to the playoffs. But I think there's too much venom between these teams. I think these guys literally just fucking hate each other. I don't think that. But then also, it's stupid. Like, it's not true, because if the Mets win game 1, they're not going to pitch anyone in game 2. Like, everyone who can get a rest day, because the roster isn't that expanded. The Mets really can't. They can't really take game 2 off. Like, if the Mets win game 1, I don't even know who's pitching in game 2. I literally can't figure out. Does Danny Young pitch 8 innings? Like, what can they possibly do if they win that game? Because the reality is that if the Mets do make it to Tuesday and play a series against the Brewers or the Padres, they will have played 5 games in 4 days. We have 5 starting pitchers, and you know what? We kind of sometimes maybe have like two or 3 or 4, I guess, on a good day. I take that back. Shout out Tyler McGill. You have a legacy game today.
You up
Monday, but like, no matter what happens, if we have to play all 5 of these games full throttle, like I said before, like your best option now is Sean Manaea and 3 days rest. The first
Can't worry about that. Can't worry about that.
I'm just saying it's an interesting thing. Like, if they are able to win game 1, they can hold back Severino. I literally can't figure out who's going to pitch. They can't shuttle guys up and down because you have to stay down 15 days. You can't do that. You can't take someone off the roster. Like, truthfully, this is so unprecedented. I'm fascinated to see what they do.
Well, Manaea would be on normal rest for game 2.
For game 2, yeah.
Yes.
But if Severino has to pitch game 2 of the doubleheader, Manaea's pitching game 1.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, that's how it goes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, of course. No, but we just have to beat fucking Tyler McGill to beat the Braves tomorrow. That's all it comes down to.
Win a game.
And you said you wanted to kill the Braves and their season. If we win game 1, we're not going to try and kill the Braves. We're probably going to take that game off.
Hey, listen, it's still baseball. I'm sure Luis Torrens and Eddie Alvarez, maybe Eddie Alvarez legacy game coming in game 2 if the Mets win game 1. You gotta definitely take it easy. Luckily, Lindor does not touch the field in game 2 if they win game 1, obviously. And this is a lot of if talk and a lot of looking forward.
Right to the massage table.
Yeah, right to the massage table.
Heating thing on his back.
Put him on the flight to Milwaukee already. Private jet. Steve Cohen. We know you got the money. Put him on the jet to Milwaukee if they win game 1. And if he's in San Diego, he's halfway there. He's fine. He'll be okay.
No, you hang out with the team. When we win this game Monday, that flight to Milwaukee, it's going to be unreal vibes. Also, I saw our girl Diana tweeting about this. It's very funny that between the Mets, the Braves, and the Diamondbacks, no one's going to be able to pop champagne and celebrate postseason berth. It's kind of hilarious. And it's also funny because this Mets core never got to actually celebrate their postseason berth in 2022 because they had a fake celebration for just clinching the playoffs, and they had no celebration when they lost the division in horrible, dramatic fashion against the Braves. So it's really bizarre that this Mets team can't get champagne. That's why we have to get to the playoffs and we have to win the wild card round so we can get the champagne party. We can get the drunk Mets content that we deserve.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I can't wait. Tomorrow's going to be crazy. What are we going to do?
I'll also say this. The Mets have to fucking step up and hit Spencer Schwellenbach.
Yes, they have
You're seeing this guy for the second time in a week. Spencer Schwellenbach's a great pitcher. I love dropping the stats. My favorite. It's my favorite in baseball. Spencer Schwellenbach made 24 starts between high school and the major leagues. It's one of the craziest just piece of information that exists. You just saw this guy last week. He crushed you in July or August, whenever the last time he played them was. You got to hit the guy. It's fastballs and it's sliders. Hit this fucking guy. Like, I'm tired of this. And a lot of people, I think, were a little scared of Luis Severino facing the Braves back-to-back appearances. I'm fine with it, too. This team is so right-handed heavy. We talked about it last week with the Hammer Territory guys, Brad and Steven, because this Braves team they're they don't have a lot of depth because most of their team got hurt, so they can't really platoon guys in and out. So it's all right-handed hitters besides for Olsen and Michael Harris. So you had to start the righties against them. You just simply completely had to. So I like the decision. McGill, please hope that slider works. I pray that slider works. I hope your fastball command's good. I hope he's so comfortable right now. Hope they're early in Atlanta. Hope he's sleeping and he's comfy and he's cozy. He's going to wake up ready to be a killer tomorrow. Good matchups, though. I think it's the best way the Mets could have drawn up the way they planned this weekend. I have a lot of faith in Carlos Mendoza and doing something managerially that's never been done in baseball, which is navigating a doubleheader the day before a possible playoff game. I just, the second the game ended today, I was like, I want to play right now immediately. I don't want to wait the 20 hours to get to this next game. So I want to do it now.
Remember the chaos that would ensue in a game 163? You're like, I can't believe you have to play one game before the playoffs start. Like, this screws everything up. The Mets and Braves are like, what about two? What about two? And there's no day off. You're getting immediately the next day back out there. It's chaos. And the awful, terrible part is we have to sit and we have to wait. And I don't know if I'm going to go to sleep tonight. I don't know how the quality of my sleep is going to
sleep tonight for sure.
I'm going to need some aids to help me fall asleep here because it's just like it
is.
AIDS? Yeah, I need them. It's like I got a lot of excitement. It's the kid before Christmas. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. I got faith in this team. You gotta believe. If
you're comparing what's gonna happen on Monday as Christmas, was there a weird tradition in your family where someone was brutally slain at random every Christmas?
No, but sometimes I got amazing gifts. I opened it up. I thought it was a Gap. I thought I got clothes from the Gap. I was like, clothes from the Gap. I opened the box. PSP, best Christmas ever. Shout out Mark and Tony Luino.
You gotta go back to the Gap. I've been telling you to go to the Gap to get some nice adult clothing. You gotta get there soon.
Yeah, I gotta get less logos. I'm a big logo guy.
You need some plain, solid color T-shirts. A vital part of being an adult. But that's a great shirt. I got you that shirt. But do we have anything else here? It's just kill this Braves team. Don't let them breathe.
Yeah. Whatever you got to do to get right as Mets fans, got to do it. Mets got to come out aggressive. They got to come out hot. You got to punch Spencer Schwellenbach in the face. You got to do it, whether it's literally or figuratively. Punch him in the face. Make a statement. Get out on them early.
You just reminded me. I forgot the best Keith quote from the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were showing flashbacks to the Rhys Hoskins play from April.
So annoying this week, and I love him, but he was so annoying.
They showed the flashback. They showed Yohan Ramirez. Shout out Yohan Ramirez. I wonder where he's at right now. But throwing. I think he actually might be on the Dodgers. But throwing behind Rhys Hoskins after the whole debacle, and Yohan Ramirez immediately running up to the plate. Cause I think there was a guy in second, so he was like covering the plate theoretically. Keith's like, I give a lot of credit to Hoskins' professionalism for not doing something like for not charging Ramirez in that moment. I was like, Keith, I know you've been watching baseball the last 20 years because you announce every single game, but have you been watching baseball for the last 20 years? When's the last time that happened? Legitimately. But I love that comment made me like roll on the floor laughing.
Yeah, thank God we get to listen to SNY tomorrow for both games. I was worried for a second it was going to be on ESPN too. I mean, I couldn't even imagine having to listen to that. But hey, at least we've got SNY, and it's gonna be great. Hopefully you guys are as pumped as I am. I don't know about James, but maybe as pumped as me.
Oh, I'm super pumped. I'm just also, it's like a very nervous pumped.
Yeah, I mean, the stomach is bubbling, to say the least. It could be the Hal's jalapeno chips. It could be the nerves. It could be whatever. But this is everything.
Everything. Absolutely everything.
And
we're good. End it.
We're ended there. We will read out reviews on the next episode. It's either going to be happy. Or it's going to be sad. Oh, we got Frankie Peppers?
We got Frankie, of course.
Wait, Frankie's got something for us?
Of course we got Frankie. It's the end of the series. Frankie's not missing a moment.
Frankie knows his job.
Shout out Frankie. He tried the brajol, the sauce on Friday. It didn't work, so the sauce magic might be over, but we still got the win, so I can't be mad at Frankie. But here he is sending us home. Frankie Peppers. We got a minute 16 seconds here from Frankie.
Wow,
so
a lot of Frank.
Strap in.
Gentlemen, it's Frankie Peppers. How you doing? Our magic number is one. One more. I had some brajol earlier that I made for James earlier this week on Friday. I think the brajol needed a little bit of time to rest because I ate that brajol for lunch, and trust me, I knew what I was doing. We win 5-0. So it's I think there's still a little magic in here, and it sucks that there's a doubleheader tomorrow because, unlike some people, I gotta work. Unlike, whoever wanted to watch these games over at MLB when they decided that it was a good idea to do a doubleheader on a friggin' Monday. But either way, I'm going to be listening to this game in my office and trying not to make a scene. It's going to be difficult, but we got it tomorrow, boys. We need one. We're going to do it. We need one more game. So I'm going to eat good tonight. I hope you eat good tonight, boys. Thanks as always. Really happy to meet you again. I'll see you soon. Let's go, Mets.
Got one more.
Oh, Frankie's got more.
Oh, this is coming a bit late. I remembered. You might need to throw a few cooking suggestions my way. So, anything you're thinking of in case I gotta make more meals this year, you let me know. Thank you, boys.
I mean,
When we-
can't think tomorrow is going to be in the office, but
Yeah, when we get to the playoffs, we'll have
gotta be,
something for you. I don't know, cheese curds or some bullshit to kill the Brewers. Fish tacos.
I was thinking the fact that like people keep saying like the magic number's one. My brain, of course, went to so many different places about the one other game the Mets could have won this year to not be in the situation.
No, we're not talking about that now. No.
I went back to May.
No.
Edwin Diaz against the Giants. There's so many little moments, but it's just we're so in it that we can't really look back and appreciate the season as it was. I don't know if I'll be able to fully if we don't win one of these games in Atlanta, but it's just this crazy. Also, shout out to people who are going to be at work listening to this podcast during these games on Monday. Just you gotta get the boss button. You gotta keep that tab open. Also, if this is a big one, shout out to the kids in school.
Yeah.
Could you imagine sitting in a high school class with these games going on?
I would like to believe that my parents would have allowed me to miss school to watch these games.
I used to go
would
the
think
morning, leave the afternoon.
Yeah, like the half day. Take me out after lunch.
Yeah, just leave, not come back. But shout out to all you guys. Thank you guys for keeping us as part of your routine with this insane team, this insane fucking season. We appreciate you guys being here. We hope to be here, keep doing some playoffs episodes here, but team's got to do it. And I think I'm ready for war. Yeah, positive or negative, you will hear from us on tomorrow. Tuesday morning with a fresh podcast. We will either be, I think we'll probably be a little drunk either way. It just might be no matter what, we're going to be a little drunk.
Yeah, we're going to be a little buzzed. Hopefully you guys,
not really.
No, yeah, it depends if they win. Have some fun. But guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. Make sure you follow us on all our social media at Mets'd on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe to the Mets'd Podcast YouTube channel for the video version of this. And if you are listening, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Overcast, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. 5 stars, whatever it is. You can follow James on Twitter at
James_Shiano.
I'm Giraffneck Mark with a C. Again, say goodnight to your kids. Give your wife, give your husband, whatever it is, give them a kiss. Let them know we're going to war and we're not coming back without the head of the Atlanta Braves. Let's fucking go, Mets. Let's end their season.
Let's fucking go, Mets. See you guys next time.